My name is Jamie Bergstein. I work in the admissions department here at the Kennedy School. This is for Commissioner Davis. It's not a question. Sorry. I just wanted to thank you.
The biggest challenge, I think, being on the streets in Watertown was getting information. For good reason, because they were super busy trying to track down a terrorist at this point. They weren't real forthcoming with information. So that was the trickiest part, to try to get someone to confirm what exactly was happening. From different police officers, you were getting sort of a different word, and you want to make sure you have the right information, especially when it's that type of story where people's livelihoods are on the line. It was interesting because I drove right into Watertown. I got a call at home. David, we need you to go to Watertown because there are two men throwing explosives at police and shooting at them, and they could be the Boston Marathon suspects. And I thought, oh, you want me to drive there? You want me to go there? And they said yes. So I got in my car and I just started driving, and I kept thinking at some point they'll stop me. At some point, one of these federal agencies will say, okay, that's as far as you go. They never did. Next thing you know, I'm standing in the middle of the street with a live truck and a photographer. Boom, I'm on television. And there are people walking around with rifles, heavily armored vehicles going by. And it was nerve-wracking. But at the same time, it was like, okay, get your wits together and try to come up with some information to pass along to the viewer. I think it impacted our coverage in some ways in a very good way. And I say that because the Boston Marathon is very personal to us at Channel 4 because we are the station that covers it from beginning to end. So for years, I've been doing the pre-race coverage. In fact, that morning I was out in Hopkinton very early from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock interviewing people. And the thing about the Boston Marathon is it's always about these great stories, these people who are raising money for other sick people. So there's that feeling in the air of hope. And so there's that personal feeling like, okay, this is our marathon. And then secondly, this is our city. I grew up here. I know these streets. And to see somebody doing something like that on our streets, deeply, deeply personal. And I think that helped the coverage in that not only did we know the logistics of the city, which was very helpful to pass along to the viewers. I think that's something that we had over the networks in this case. And I think it also, for the viewer to be able to look at the television and say, okay, I know these people know the marathon, and I know these people know my streets. I've seen them here for a long time. I think that added to the coverage. Boy, social media. I'm a huge Twitter fan. I am constantly live tweeting just about everything I do. And that was no different on Friday morning when the whole area was shut down. When information was hard to come by, I was passing along anything I could to my Twitter followers. And I was getting a lot of good information too from other reputable sources that would help us. Usually, depending on the source, you would have to go and say, all right, let's make sure that's true first. But some great information coming in from the Associated Press, coming in from the state. Oftentimes you don't wait for the news conference anymore. The news conference comes to you through Twitter. The governor may put something on his feed that's very helpful in your coverage. So Twitter in this case can be your friend, giving you great information. At the same time, one of the things that I saw, especially on Fridays, that Twitter can be a vast wasteland of misinformation. There were a lot of people putting out info from scanner traffic. And it's journalism 101 that you don't use scanner traffic to do your news. You just don't.